Are we live? We're live. Hold on, I'm checking to see what episode this is. Man, no, it's okay. Let's see. I'm so curious. I think it's episode 17. Welcome everybody to episode 17 of the Fresh Towels podcast, live on tape here in New York City. Wow, Big Mike going with a yogurt this morning. It's the summertime. That's what people do. They change it up. It's early morning, Memorial Day. It's the official start, or what do they call it? The unofficial start of summer in the city. Summer everywhere is now Memorial Day. The grills are coming out. Get your hot dogs set for summer. I love summertime. I don't love the air conditioning situation as a New Yorker. I feel like temperature regulation is always an issue in New York. And when we head into this season, it's a constant battle between ACs breaking. No one has central air in New York City, so you're battling a little window unit that's been sitting all winter. It's the little AC that could, and everyone has that issue. There's very, very few people here who have central AC and are just like, oh, summertime, let me just keep this at 68 degrees all summer and feel comfortable. For me, it's like I got this little window unit that sometimes works. It will make my apartment 61 degrees or like 150 degrees, and there's nothing in the middle. I'm either freezing or the sun is beating down like I'm on friggin' Saturn. That's what summertime in New York is like. It's hot and humid. I think it's actually underrated for being a city that's hot in the summer. Like a lot of people from the Northeast would be like, man, how could you want to go down to Florida in the summertime? It's too hot. I'm like, have you ever been to New York? It's way worse. I'm sitting out on the pavement. People are just like opening fire hydrants to get a little relief. I feel like it's hotter and more uncomfortable in New York City. Now, if you're going down to Florida to do like a theme park, sure. I mean, that's gonna be a whole thing. But for the most part, summer in the city is kind of rough. It can be. When I lived in the East Village with my frat house living situation, which was me and 4 other guys for many, many years, we didn't have any air conditioning. And I lived, they call it garden level in New York, which is essentially, it's basically a basement. But our apartment, you walked in on street level, and then you would go downstairs, and we weren't underground, but we were off the street, that's what they call garden level. It's like steps down off the street. But there was bars on the window, so there was no way to have a window air conditioning unit in 4 of the 5 bedrooms. And my room didn't even have a window. It had a door. So my room would get like 150 degrees in the summertime. There was no way to regulate the temperature. I had a fan in there. And then I got a window air conditioning unit for the living room that I ran a big tube. I ran a tube down the hallway that I would try to stick into my room. It was like one of those tubes, like remember in E.T., like the people walk through the plastic tube, NASA, when they're coming through the house. It was like that, but a smaller version, trying to run the AC into my room. The problem being that if I directed the AC into my room, there was 3 other bedrooms downstairs that would get no AC. So the tube was constantly being fought after. And I remember moving into our new apartment, and we just had 1 window air conditioning unit, and I felt rich. I felt like I could control the temperature. At least I could control the temperature for myself, and that was a big deal. Do you have AC, Mike?
Yeah, I didn't want to say anything because I just wanted you to get through that. We have a brand new air compressor.
You have a central AC?
It's basically central AC, where the compressor's outside the house, attached to the building, and then each room has its own built-in unit. It's whisper quiet. Hit a button, freezing cold. It'll go all day if you want, and you don't hear a thing. No windows required. So it's the closest thing to central AC in New York as you can get in like a pre-war building.
So you get one remote, you set it to 68 or whatever, and all the units regulate.
You can do that, or you can individually choose each room what temperature you want each room. So I actually think it's a little bit better than central air. So I could hit them all, or I can hit one at a time.
So that's pretty fancy.
It's pretty fancy, and added does heat. So in the summer,
that
in the
controls
winter,
your heat?
I can throw the heat on and it gets my house and I can do it to the exact temperature. So we don't even use the radiator anymore. We shut it off.
I seasonally have control of the temperature of my apartment.
Well, everybody does.
Seasonally, like during the winter.
Summer, boiling hot. Winter, freezing cold.
Well, like me personally, having control of the temperature of my apartment, even now, depends on the season. So in the winter, the heat is just on or it's off, and the entire building is on or off. And the only way to regulate the temperature is if you go into the radiator and like you turn the valve that's, boiling hot. If you turn that on or off, that's the only way to regulate the heat. But for the most part, the heat's on or the heat's off. And the building, I think, if it's under 55 degrees or under 50 degrees, heat's on. If it's over that, heat's off. So wintertime, I have no control over the temperature in my apartment unless I open and close the window, which is my temperature regulator. So I will open the window or close the window depending on how cold it is or if the heat is on or off. So that's my thermostat. In the fall and the spring is when I go by the Lord. That's when I decide the temperature of my apartment because the heat's not on and it's too chilly for air conditioning. So if the temperature in New York is like 63 degrees, I got a really nice, pleasant apartment. But it depends on the season, or it depends on the temperature of the day.
Fall in New York is the best time.
Fall is great.
Windows open. No pollen.
You got a screen.
Yeah.
You're good to go.
Yeah,
So spring, fall, it just depends on the day. That's going to be the temperature of my apartment. And then summer, I'm left with my window AC unit, and I have no regulation of temperature besides trying to get that thing. It's like the little AC that could. It really works hard, and it tries its best. But some days when it's like 100 degrees, you just got to put the shades down and hope for the best.
I remember one time in my old apartment when I was using air, window units. I was doing a party, like just having a couple people over for dinner, and I was cooking. I had the oven, the stove, I had everything going. I put 2 air conditioning units in. I brought the one from the bedroom out to the living room because it's one big room. Still could not keep it below 80 degrees just by cooking. It was insane, dude.
I can't sleep in the heat.
No.
That's the absolute worst feeling on earth for me is sleeping in the heat. I'd rather be freezing cold.
I'd rather roll up in one of those like emergency tinfoil blankets because it's so
Those
cold.
keep you cold?
No, they keep you warm.
Oh.
But I'd rather have to do that to try to keep myself warm in a freezing cold room than try to get cooled off in a hot room.
I don't think I can physically sleep if it's too hot.
No.
Even with the AC, even if I have the window open, I have a fan above me. I'll put the fan above me on. I have a side fan next to my bed that has to be on. I'll keep the window open and the AC. I have all different types of temperature regulation.
When my parents were visiting this week, they were very confused as to why we had the air conditioning running, the windows open, and a fan on. I was like, it's just you can't get enough.
You're just doing the best you can.
Because it's cool at night, but I want the air on just in case it gets warm, and I need a fan to keep shit moving, dude.
You got to keep shit moving.
Yeah.
I like the air moving around, cycling.
I think our landlord broke our radiators on purpose so that he doesn't have to pay for the oil, and then he put in the heat unit up top so that we have to spend money on electricity.
It's actually pretty smart.
But for him, coming up, he's gonna get a real rude awakening because it's illegal to have
a radiator.
To have radiators not working. So
but you have heat though.
Right, but the radiators have to work. It's a part of because it's supposed to be free. Like
free heat?
The free heat is a big New York tenet. So
I didn't know that.
Yeah, free heat. You can't not provide heat to your people.
Well, I mean that makes sense, but I guess it's not like you don't have heat because he installed these other heaters.
Right. I mean, now that you're saying it out loud, it makes sense.
I'm saying if he lets you without any option.
But I don't like it.
I don't like it.
I realized immediately that there was a lot of holes in my theory, but fuck him.
I mean, if he's got to do what he's got to do. When I walked into this apartment in the East Village when I first moved in, I remember asking the realtor, I was like, well, where's the heat come from? Because there was no radiators downstairs. I definitely didn't see any air conditioning. And as someone coming from Florida, I remember he was like, oh yeah, well the heat comes from the pipes. And downstairs, there was just a big pipe running through the entire length of the floor. So from my room, straight through another bedroom, through one bathroom, through another bathroom, and through the living room was a pipe that was like almost like a sewage pipe. It was like 8-10 inches in diameter, painted, run through the entire apartment. And the guy's like, "Oh yeah, your heat is that pipe." And when we moved in September, I'm like, "What are you talking about? Like, what could this pipe do?" There's not like holes in the pipe that heat comes out of. I'm like, "What could this pipe do to keep me warm in the winter?" And then the first day, it got chilly in New York, and the pipe turned on. I was like, "Okay, I get it." That pipe turned like 1,000 degrees, and it heated the entire downstairs, and that was our heat. The pipe would get hot, and that was our radiator.
Just don't touch it.
Don't touch the pipe. Well, they painted the apartment, and they painted that pipe for us to move in to clean the whole thing up. And then the first time it turned on, and it fills with water, I presume.
Oil.
Oil?
Heating oil.
That's what goes through that pipe?
Yeah.
I thought it was just hot water.
It's heating oil. You see the heating oil trucks piping in? It's heating oil.
That pipe is filled with oil?
It's filled with oil.
I didn't know that. I thought it was hot water.
Extra virgin olive, actually. Pop a hole, make it, fry up a cutlet.
That pipe, when it got so heavy, filled with, I guess, oil, it dropped the ceiling a little bit. Not the ceiling, I'm sorry, but like it's obviously heavier than when it's not full. So like when they painted it, there's all these paint chips that were around our apartment because it sank a little bit.
That's great.
And that pipe, was ripping hot. And also, it sounded like there was like, what is it? What's the movie? Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, when they're like hammering away looking for diamonds,
Looking for gold.
like
Gems.
that's what it sounded like. It sounded like Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, and they were all mining inside the pipe because it would be, all you would hear is bang, 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 and I don't know what that was. I mean, it was a little bit alarming, but there was always banging in the pipes for our heat. So
Good life hack though. Wrap all your bath towels around it. Heated towels.
Heated towels.
We have a pipe in our bathroom because there's no heat in there, and there's a pipe, and we just wrap our towels around.
He turns the pipe on?
So we can control everything in our apartment. So we turn off the other radiators because they just spit oil.
God.
And that's how I confirmed it's oil in those. And but we have a pipe in the bathroom, but we wrap our towels around
That's
it in the
smart,
winter,
yeah.
and then it's just like it's luxury.
Having a nice heated towel is always nice. Heated floors coming out of the bathroom is a super luxury. I don't know if I can have that. That's a very newfound luxury.
I would like that though.
I think I would like that too.
Heated towel, heated mirrors. So when you come out, you can comb your hair.
when it doesn't fog. No fog effects in the mirrors. No fog mirrors are a thing. So you come out and you can always see yourself. Very important.
So wait, now I'm looking up here because I wanted to see what the banging is in the radiator, and it says that there's water in there.
See?
But then what's the oil pouring out of my shit?
That sounds like you have a bigger problem.
So it says the banging occurs when hot water is released into the radiator, which has standing cold water,
Okay.
and it enters at a high speed, slamming into the water and against the metal walls with a loud bang. That's what it's saying.
It's
It's
so
the
loud.
temperature shift at a fast pace.
So that makes sense because every time that I would hear the loud crack and the banging, it was when the pipe was like turning on. So they would turn it off in like the middle of the night, but then it would turn on in the morning at like 6 a.m. And when they turned it on, there was like 15, 20 minutes of loud banging. And I think I'm underselling how loud it was. I mean, it was alarmingly loud. Like it would sound like
wakes
there's
you
a
up.
major issue going on in the apartment. It sounded like someone needs to be called. But that was just a day in the life. Every single day, dude. It was the worst. I couldn't stand it. But summertime now is amongst us. We are here in the summertime fever. Everyone's out there traveling, doing their thing. It's wedding season. I'm starting to see pictures of all the weddings are back. People are wedding planning. People are wedding going. People are wedding. I need a suit. I need a tux. What size am I? What happened over the winter? Am I still a 38 regular? Am I bumped up to the 40s? Suit sizes, man. That's a depressing thing. I went to a charity function, throwing on the first coat in a while. Man, nothing says I had a couple too many mozzarella sticks over the winter, like a suit fitting.
I have to go get a suit made for a week and a half from now because my old suit, dropped it off at dry cleaning, came back to pick it up, dry cleaner closed, and they never warned us, and they just took my clothes, I guess.
Wait, the dry cleaner went out of business?
Went out of business between me dropping it off and picking up my suit.
You didn't get an email?
I got nothing, dude.
Not even a text?
Not even a text.
What do you think? They Goodwill it, or do you think they're just walking around with your stuff?
No, they probably just ripped it up. Like they probably just had someone come take it, everything, and they did what they want with it, sold it, got
That
rid.
doesn't sound right.
Of course not, but it was a custom built polo suit that I had. And now I have a corporate gig next week that I got to wear a suit. And now I got to like rush. I just picked it up, like the gig, so I have to rush to get like a suit made. And I have to get one made because I can't go to like Nordstrom Rack.
You
or
say
Nordstrom.
corporate gig in a suit, and I just immediately, the blood rushed out of my head.
Well, let me push it back into your head when I show you how much money I'm making on it. For 10 minutes of comedy.
Okay, I'll
10 minutes. I need a suit.
Bro, the last time I did comedy in a suit, it was not good.
No.
Anytime that there's circle tables.
Yeah. This is standing apparently.
Oh,
I did one where they required me to wear a suit. And they were like, don't do any crowd work or roasting of any kind.
just
That's
do
not
the
what this event is.
Straight material.
It's very stuffy, whatever. I show up. It's at the basement of a bar. Everyone's in casual clothes. I show up in a suit. They're all
Your
hammered.
custom polo suit.
And then at one point, I do one guy started chirping, so I had to say something to stop it, and it got a really good laugh. And I did it for like 5 minutes. I was like, they can dock me some money. I don't care. This is fun. Whatever. And then afterwards, the person who booked me was like, why didn't you just keep doing that? That was so fun. I was like, bitch, you fucking told me not to.
You told me, I know.
I would have done that for an hour. I don't want to go up here and do my jokes in front of these idiots. I would have just ripped the guy with a bow tie apart.
I hate when they change the parameters.
Hey, don't do this. I won't. Why didn't you do this? Oh, yeah, good call. I guess I'm the asshole.
I got booked in a college
I think I
gig.
just hurt my shoulder yelling. That's how mad it made me.
You're going to have to build that into the suit build.
Yeah, really.
Swollen shoulder.
But anyway, the point is that they're going to need a lot more fabric than the last time.
Oh,
'Cause
gosh.
your buddies put on a few LBs.
I did a college gig where they did that to me. Where
Suit?
No, it wasn't required a suit, but they gave me a whole list of things. You can't say this, you can't say this, you can't say this, you can't say this. No F-bombs, no this bomb. It was like a whole list where, and I don't think I'm dirty at all, but it made me question everything. And then I get there, and the woman who sent that email, it's 4 minutes before I go on stage. They handed me the microphone, and she goes, "Oh yeah, I forgot to tell you, you can just do whatever you want."
I think that's just a liability thing. They do that so that way if they get complaints, then they can go after you.
Oh, yeah, good. Tell me, yeah. We told them.
Yeah, that's it. That's all just for them covering. That's just as they call CYA. If you ever had a real job.
CYA, cover your ass.
Yeah.
I got it. Nailed that.
Top 5 things that CYA could stand for.
Yeah.
Is that an agency that won't book me?
It sounds like it. Got a long list of those. But yeah, corporate gigs, man, those can be really, 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 really tough.
Yeah, I'm not. It should be fun though. It's 10 minutes.
10 minutes, yeah. Anything
10
goes
minutes,
in
and then
10
I
minutes.
host. Then I just have to like MC a couple of things, and that's that.
Oh, goodness. Yeah, last time I did comedy in a suit, that was around this time last year. It was like last May, and it was a charity function, and it was a tough one. I think they brought up this guy who went up before me, and everyone, I forget what he was talking about, but everyone was crying. Everyone's crying, and then he like kind of did a mic drop moment of whatever he said, and like I'm just like, oh God, please,
He
please
goes,
don't let it be me
Hold on,
next.
let me do the line that I'm gonna guess he said, which is the worst line, and then you react as if you're about to go on. Ready?
Okay.
And in closing, cancer won't kill all of us. Here's your comedian, Jiggy.
All right. How's everyone feeling out there? It wasn't quite like that, but it was something. You know what it was? It was something like, and you can dig deep, and even you can make a difference. And everyone's like crying, and it got like an awkward partial standing ovation, which is even worse. You know, it's like
forced standing ovation.
it was like a 20%er where like you got 20% standing and golf claps, and he comes down and he's emotional and everyone's emotional. And then the host comes up and goes, "All right, now we're gonna change tones here, and we're gonna bring up our comedian." And I'm like, "God, no! Who planned this?"
Hey, you tell the host, hey, quick, do a quick like 20 in between us.
Yeah, is there any way you could just send everyone out of the room?
Reset for me.
I once did a corporate gig in an airplane hangar in Orlando. This is like 10 years ago, maybe even longer. Was an airplane hangar, which is not a good place to do comedy. You know, it's 200-foot ceilings, this massive hangar, and they showed one of those. It was for an airplane company in Orlando
Sure.
that did like private runs or whatever they did, and they were raising money that night, and they opened the buffet. They go, okay, the buffet is open, and then they put on the back of this giant airplane hangar a video on loop that was like they were raising money to feed. I think it was like I don't know if it was a specific country, but they were sending money to Africa to help hunger, and so they were running this loop of what they were doing with the money in Africa, and it ran with no music, but it was on picture a movie screen. It was twice the size of that. They opened up the buffet and they started playing this on loop. And then right in the middle of this giant screen playing this video was me trying to tell jokes. And everyone's at the buffet and they're getting prime rib cut. And I'm like, what's the deal with Kesha? And they're like, boo. This guy sucks.
I don't know. They were actually paying enough attention to know.
No,
that you weren't doing well?
honestly, I wish they booed me because at least they were listening. I swear to God, there's hundreds of people there. There was 0 people listening, and the only person who really kind of enjoyed it was the person who booked me. And sometimes that happens on these corporate gigs when no one's listening, or it's hard. The crowd never really turns on you; they just don't listen. And but it's happened to me a few times where the person who books me goes, "That was great. Are you available next year?" I'm like, "Fucking no."
Yeah, the money's gone up for sure.
Yeah.
I'll do trash shows again, but you're gonna have to pay more. Now that I know how bad this is, I don't know who in the university school of event planning is telling people that crowds of people need to be entertained while they're at the buffet. Stop.
Terrible. Yeah.
That should be illegal.
I don't even think most of the time having a stand up at these events is just not the right idea.
Anytime that I ever get asked to do those events, I always try to spin it like, let me do like a presentation type bit, and then I'll MC like other things that you're doing. So I'll fill the hour, but doing stand up is just it's going to be, unless it's Ray fucking Romano.
Yeah.
Nobody's paying attention, and it's going to be awful for everybody. It's going to be bad for me, but everyone's going to be like, what is going on? And it's going to look bad on you.
A comedian at most of these events that we're talking about, generally speaking, is better served as a host. Because what it ends up happening, I'd say in most of these events, you can imagine it. It's like you got the big circle tables with 10 people sitting around it. You got a buffet going. You got someone's going to do an auction. You got, you got some type of musical element, and then they throw stand-up in there, and it just doesn't work. No one's paying attention. Most of the people aren't facing the stage. But as a host, we'd be much better suited to control the flow of the night, get people to spend some money, like bring up the presenters. Like, it's a much better job for a comedian. Be personable with the people and run the checklist. But then inevitably they have someone who has no business hosting who is the host, and then they throw stand-up in there, and it never ever works.
Nope.
It's very rare. Like, you got to have, it's lightning in a bottle if you can get it, but it's very rare. I don't think I've ever had a gig where like stand-up is thrown in. I've done events that are fundraisers that are comedy shows that are great.
Different.
Completely different. That's not this.
That's
this
not
is
a corporate retreat that in between the opening bagel fiesta and the 14 hours of droning into these specific keynote PowerPoints with numbers. Real quick, we're going to do comedy. Those are brutal.
Man.
Comedy at a corporate event, bad idea. Comedian at a corporate event,
could be
used
fun.
in the right way,
Could be
Best
fun.
event of your life.
Or yeah, you have a comedian out there on the golf course at a golf event. Could be really fun, like hamming it up at one of the holes. There's different ways to do have a comedian at the events.
I almost got punched at one of those.
It's like a celebrity golf tournament.
Well,
I've done
it was
a bunch of those.
a hole where you're roasting the
Players.
roasting the players. Most people were really into it, but one guy he was just trying to roast me back, and I'm like, this is not like this isn't good fun, bud. Stop. And he's like, he kept doing it, and he was this like meathead looking dude, and I simply said, I don't understand why you're getting mad at me because you peaked in high school.
Oh, good.
And then he started to like come at me, and I just stood my ground. I was like, go ahead.
With
I'll
golf
own
clubs?
this golf course when you're done, bud. Go ahead, hit me. I dare you. But that'll stop a lot of people from doing anything. And he was bigger than me, and I'm a big dude. And I just like, go ahead, be the best payday of my life. I'm gonna 1,000x my pay for this, just getting swung on by you.
Getting whacked at on the eighth hole
It'd have been great.
on a par 3.
But that's why I don't do when I do corporate gigs. I always do I sell them on. Let me roast the industry.
That's more fun.
And
yeah.
that's they get way more out of it. It's much more beneficial for them. And I do like a PowerPoint I put up, and I put pictures up, and I just do I just tell them that why their industry sucks basically, and they love it. Everyone loves it.
That's better.
Now compared to, I do 20 minutes up top at this
Yeah.
chiropractor convention. Like, all right, man.
I've done like some roast formats that were really fun. But just doing straight stand up, I think the worst of the worst was, man, this has many years ago, but I was on a gig site, where you get random gigs so they pitched me to do this thing. In hindsight, I should have known it was a disaster. I take like a New Jersey Transit bus to another bus to a Pennsylvania bus. It takes me 2.5 hours to get out to this golf course. And the gig was this entire company was going to go out and play 18 holes of golf, open bar. Then they're going to come back. They're going to have a buffet. And then I'm going to do an hour. So I get to this place, and I'm waiting for these players to come off the course. And I quickly realize that it's 100% middle-aged dudes. Which for a comedy audience is never the best. I'd rather have 100% middle-aged women, or all women is fine, or mixed is fine.
Women are respectful people.
I just think that they like to laugh. Where you have 100 guys who have just been drinking all day, and they all know each other.
Golfing, farting, talking about how they cheat on their wives.
And now they have to listen to me.
Laser focused on the next thing.
Dude, it was unbelievable. The mic goes on. I'm going, this is going to be fucking horrible. And as soon as the word go, all right, let's give it up for a comedian, Jiggy. Dude, everyone started roasting me in the audience. I was needed a baton. You see those zombie movies where they're just coming at all sides. People are fucking yelling out and roasting me, and I saw this guy. He's screaming from the back of the room. He's yelling at me about whatever I was wearing. They're all roasting me, right? And this guy stands up, moves closer to a table closer to the stage so that I could hear him better. I was like, what? And he goes, and he stands up, comes closer. It was the only gig I've ever done in my entire life where after the show, I just left. I got in an Uber. It was a 2.5-hour Uber from Pennsylvania back to New York City. It cost hundreds of dollars. I was like, whatever it takes to get me out of here.
Did you break even because of the Uber, or was it a decent payday?
It was a decent payday. I still made a little money, but it was I literally, the woman who booked me, I was like, why would you do this to me?
Yeah, that's crazy.
And she sent out a memo before the whole thing that was have fun with your comedian tonight. That was egging them on.
Yeah.
Dude, it was terrible. It was terrible. And I got off that they have a lot of those gigging websites now, and that was
got off that.
Completely off of it. I'm like, I'm never gonna do these gigs again. I'm not gonna be just like ham on a fishing rod to.
Yeah.
It was terrible, man. There was just no respect for comedy, no respect for me. It was basically this check will clear and you will endure whatever these drunk middle-aged guys are going to do to you. I've
had some of the worst offers too in corporate comedy. come do our charity event. You do an hour, and then you mingle, and then you'll host the auction and the 50-50. It pays $200. It's like
What?
I was like, and I have to fly to get there. Like, I'm sorry.
You're in the
Do
hole.
you understand? It's like this is a $10,000 gig.
Yeah.
This is $5,000, $10,000. Like, I quote these people that the numbers that I'm like, this is what it's going to take for me to do this, and they're like, well, I mean, we might be able to get you 300. Like, good luck, man.
That's like you walking there.
Yeah, in no world does that make sense. I had an offer one time to come do stand up at an office building for like during like this lunch celebration, $50. I was like, good luck finding somebody for $50 to do anything.
Like, good luck what you get for that.
Yeah, you're paying the guy that's cleaning up the sandwich wrappers after that.
You might as well just look up jokes yourself and tell
just go
them.
put on Netflix.
Yeah, that might be the cheapest way to do it.
Seriously, what a joke.
Oh goodness, man. Yeah, I don't miss doing things like that. That was really tough. But yeah, I don't know if I even have any of those. I don't think so. Nothing on the books.
Dude, I have 5 in June.
This summer?
In June.
Wow.
Yeah. Big month, but boy, oh boy.
Well, maybe you'll get in a rhythm of doing it.
It'll be fine. Your boy could use the money, though. The studio is expensive. Yeah, I'm pumped that I'm actually excited about it.
Nice.
The gigs are going to suck, but I'm pumped for that at the end of June to see my bank account and go, we did it. And then I got a fresh suit now. That the one gig, like, it'll more than, like, it's a drop in the hat to get a free suit, basically.
And you're gonna come home, put on that air conditioning, be like, ooh, your boy's chilly.
Yeah, and then take my suit off and realize I'm still a fat loser. I'm rolling deep at Jiggy Fest, though.
Jiggy
I'm
Fest.
pocket stuffed when I go down there. I'm going to the Hard Rock as soon as it's over, buddy.
Oh my God.
I'm gonna go gamble.
I just I went to the park yesterday. I was in Central Park, and we met up with some friends who had a baby this year. It's pretty wild to see your friends who have had children, and then you see like this little person.
That's kind of cool that you still talk to those people. I cut them off immediately.
Cut them off. They've just created this little thing that's walking around, and it has a tooth now. It had one tooth. It was a cocky little tooth too. He was really cocky about his little tooth. You know, before he couldn't even chew anything. Now he's slamming down watermelon cubes. It's like, yeah, I got one tooth.
Looking at
Believe you me.
staring at you while he's doing it.
Yeah, stop looking at me. No, he's such a cute little kid. But it's amazing, man. These kids in their first year, like, just watching this little thing go from nothing. It was just like sitting in a bed or whatever, a crib, like a few months ago. And now it's rolling around and it's got a tooth and it's in the park. Kids, man, the first like year, what a wild ride. But I do feel like humans are way below other animals as far as like what we can do in the first year or two. Like we're super, like I was impressed that this kid could eat a watermelon cube yesterday, but after 1 year, like a giraffe is like running around and like killing animals and whatever. You know, aren't we like underdeveloped for other species
Bro.
when it comes to like, I mean, think about any other animal. Is there any other animal that takes as long as we do to like fully develop?
I used to have a bit about this that never worked, but
We'll try it here.
well, the concept is like a giraffe will have a baby and the baby hits the ground and then the mom looks at it while it's still covered in pus and it's like, hey, you got about 3 seconds till you get eaten by a lion.
You could, definitely could.
So you're going to have to learn how to run quick. 3, seriously, I'm not kidding right now. 2, I'm fucking leaving. 1, goodbye.
Out.
They come out of the womb. They come out.
They
Walking.
do come. I mean, not
Yeah.
not gracefully, but
and then
they're
they're
out.
trotting around, jumping fucking fences, eating grass.
It's pretty amazing.
Meanwhile, if you don't hold your baby's head up for the first 7 months as a human, it snaps off.
Yeah, you can't feed it different things. I was learning all these different things yesterday. Like you can't. I didn't. You know that you can't feed a baby honey?
No.
I had no idea.
I just found out you can't feed a dog garlic and onions.
You can't feed a dog garlic and onions.
Yeah. There goes my meatball parm sandwich idea for my puppy.
Why can't you feed a dog garlic and
It's
onions?
poisonous.
It's poisonous to them?
Yeah.
Like chocolate?
Yeah.
Chocolate's very well known. You can't give a dog chocolate.
I think it's the caffeine in chocolate that you can't do.
They spaz out.
Yeah, like their hearts goes too fast. Like they can't have a cup of coffee.
Well, I assume that.
Yeah.
I'm not making lattes for my dog.
My dog loves coffee. The smell of coffee. If you put a
Yeah.
cup of coffee down, she'll just sit on the cup. I think she came from like an old lady who would always make coffee, and that's why she.
You adopted?
Yeah, she's 10.
When did you adopt?
Last year.
Oh, so it's new to you, but
It's about
Old in
8
the
months to
world.
us, but she's had a couple of litters. Her titties hang to the floor. Her little nipples drag on the floor when she walks.
oh my god,
She might have been a breeder dog.
really?
She's a 100% mini poodle. We found out.
You did
She
like
looks like a pig.
23andMe on the dog.
We did, yeah. We did a little swab in the mouth, and it came back poodle, baby.
Can you do that for? Well, can you do dogs and find out where they're from?
No, that sounds like my girlfriend's mom. What you just asked.
What?
She goes, "Oh, can you find out where her kids are?" I was like, I don't think that's how mouth swabs work.
Could you imagine doing a mouth swab and like, we're getting a reading? And it looks like there's dogs running in
Or like, how many kids? Like,
Indiana.
did you find out who her kids are? Like, what are you talking about?
How would that?
It was pretty cute though. It was a cute way of not understanding.
That is pretty funny.
Yeah, there is some fun things.
Do a mouth swab and you find out where the babies are.
Yeah.
How would that work?
Hey, good question.
I love it though.
Yeah, it's really funny.
I love it.
Yeah, but she's a poodle, and she's got just a few teeth left.
Oh, that's so cute.
Big ol' hooters though.
On
Big,
the-
big sloppy
I
naturals.
didn't know who you were talking about at the.
The dog.
Oh my god. That's so cute. Yeah, this is I haven't owned a dog in New York. It's really hard. Like it's tough. Like I like dogs, but I not enough to do the work that would be required, especially in New York. It's just I think I do it because I think about the dog. Like I travel too much. I don't think Rhea would be able to handle it.
Yeah, it
The
only
walking,
works.
the
It only
poop
works for
pickup.
us because my girlfriend's like super into it.
You got to have someone who's really into it.
And so if I'm gone or on the road or out of town or whatever, like there's no. If I'm home and I'm not doing it, then it becomes a problem.
Yeah.
You know, but our current fight is that she won't. Like I'd take the dog out at night for the nighttime walk, for the poop and the pee, right before bed, and she'll ask me 5 times before she goes to bed. She goes, "Are you gonna take the dog out?" And I'm like, and now the rule is if you ask me twice, I'm not.
Do you do, and you got to do like the little poop bags, pick it up, do the whole thing?
Well, I think you got to do that anywhere. I don't think that's New York specific, unless it's your like land. But
Yeah.
yes, I have my
A poop
hand on
bag.
little baby dog turds
That's amazing.
3 times a day.
What an amazing thing. But the bigger the dog, the bigger the turd, right? That's just science.
Yeah,
I mean, people who have big dogs, that's a big handful of shit.
Great Danes, it's bigger than human shit. It's like bear
Really?
shit. Yeah,
That's
I
a
want a
lot,
Great
dude.
Dane so bad.
Anytime I
though.
see a big dog in the city, I'm like, someone's got to get their claws over that every single day. Like, even if you're having a great day, you're still having shit in your hands no matter what. Like, even the best day possible, like, oh my God, I got a promotion. I just won the lottery. The dog's like, you're still going to have shit in your paws.
Cool, palm up, buddy.
Yeah, I'm
that bag
I'm rocking
open.
a huge shit for you later. No matter what.
Ours is doing this thing where she takes little dingleberries in the middle of the night. We wake up and there's just like a tiny little
Turd.
in her bed. It's pretty cute.
Cute turds.
Well, you wake up and you're like, she
She
pooped again.
pooped a little bit.
Yeah. Never
I
peed in
don't-
the house though. Never pooped the house. Just a little. Since we got her,
That's-
she's
that's
very
old age.
very well trained. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's not even it's the walking, not even the turds. I think it's just the commitment of time. It's really hard. And like we just, and then we travel too together, and then you have to board the dog. And we just had dinner with friends last night, and like their dog, they like to travel too, and their dog is now kicked out of this boarding facility because it
Hilarious.
barks too much. So now they have like a in the eyes of the boarding dog world, a bad dog.
They've been
That, like,
flagged.
They've been flagged. They got a call from the boarding place, and they're like, "This, we can't take this dog."
This book has been read in a bathroom.
But the dog can have a reaction to being outside of the home, obviously. So the dog is well behaved at home. So they had no idea how it was going to react to being with
Yeah.
other dogs in this place, and it just flipped out. It just couldn't do it. And so now
It's-
they got a trip to like South Africa or whatever, and they're like, I don't know what to do with this friggin' dog.
They could get
And that's a
dog.
real thing.
They could get a person
They
come
gotta
by
get
3
dog
times
sitter.
a day. They just come by, walk the
It's
dog,
tough,
take it
yeah.
out.
You got to find the right person, or you got to have the right friend. Some people just have a friend. They're like, yeah, I'll come just live at your apartment and take
Or
care of
just
the dog.
take the dog over, take the dog to their place, or
If they have a dog, that's an easy transition.
yeah,
but
yeah.
some people, if you don't have a dog and it's not,
it's a lot.
yeah,
We brought Sandy over to a friend's house, and the second we left, my buddy goes, she looked me dead in the eye and pissed all over the carpet. Never broke eye contact. I was
there
like,
you go.
that a girl. Never peed in our apartment. She
Yeah,
go piss in someone
enjoy
else's.
Barbados.
Yeah, but we didn't know. We're like, she's never had an accident, so you guys should be fine. Immediately, door
That's
closes,
a lot, yeah.
full hot piss.
It's a lot of responsibility to have a dog. But I think for the, I think when I have a family, I'll have a dog. You know, I think it's good for kids and teach them responsibility.
The only thing that makes it sense is we're on the second floor, in a
Easy in and out.
in a single family home, basically. So it's super easy in and out. Yeah, you got to walk down 1 flight of stairs. If I was on my 4th floor or 5th floor apartment that I've been in before, forget it. That dog's getting thrown out the window to take a piss. I ain't doing it.
There's a separate elevator in our building that the dogs have to go into. You can't go into the regular elevators.
You live in a fancy apartment.
No, I don't. It's not like a fancy elevator. It's just they have like it's basically a service elevator that they make all the dogs go.
How many
into.
floors up are you? Or how many floors is your apartment?
I'm only on the 2nd floor, so
But how many does it go up?
26.
Big building.
It's-
Gym?
Gym?
Pool?
No.
Rooftop deck?
Rooftop.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Not mine.
You can't get up there?
I can get up there,
Yeah,
but it's not like my personal rooftop.
right, but it's a community rooftop with stuff.
A community rooftop.
It's pretty sick.
I think some people. I remember during COVID, when I would go up to my roof just to like hang out or get away or whatever, take a phone call, because a studio
Yeah,
apartment gets pretty small pretty quick. And I remember people being like, "Wow, that's so cool! You have your own roof deck." I'm like, "Reel it in a little bit. This is shared amongst 300 people."
But just to have outside space in New York, like have even semi-private outdoor space is such a luxury.
Yeah, I mean, it is nice. There are some buildings that don't have. A lot of the older buildings,
Right.
pre-war buildings, don't have any type of like official rooftop. In my East Village non-air conditioning building, we had a rooftop, but it was not finished, so it was like just a
wasn't
tar
sanctioned.
top. Like
Yeah.
you know, you could go up there, but you couldn't, but you
Right.
could. Like the alarm would go off, but like if you hit a button, the alarm would turn off. But then there was a whole thing like some kid fell off the roof in the East Village. This was many years ago now, but similar type rooftop that we had, and a kid went up there to like party with his friends, and like just was acting stupid and drunkenly fell off the roof and died. It was terrible because it certainly wasn't built for it. I mean, it definitely wasn't the building's fault. I mean, they maybe could have done something different, but you have to have access to the roof as a fire egress or whatever
Right,
the
right.
word is. You have to be able to get up there, so they can't do anything about allowing people up. But so this kid and his friends got up there, but they were like dicking around. I don't know if they were trying to like jump building to building, which you can do in some buildings. But whatever happened, I remember hearing that. I was like, maybe I won't drink on the roof. Maybe I'll go downstairs to the garden level.
I had a neighbor with the same thing, not a rooftop, but you can get up there, lighting fireworks off at like 3 o'clock in the morning one time, and I went up to the roof and started screaming at him. He's like, "Go, I'll fuck you up." I was like, "All right," and so I started jumping over the buildings to chase after him, and they went inside. I would think I was like so tired that I didn't realize that they probably could have just killed me because there was like 10 of them.
Yeah, well, they also had fireworks.
Yeah,
could
they could have
launch.
just the M80 me to death. Sometimes I have no sense.
Yeah. Well, summertime, you get a lot of those, the firework lighter offer people.
Mm.
It's just lighting off fireworks all hours of the night. But we don't get that. That's like not a Midtown thing. Downtown Manhattan, you see a lot of that. A lot of the kids who come into town
Yeah.
be lighting fireworks off. I've always been terrified of fireworks. I've never lit off a firework. I've done a sparkler, and even that, I was like, I'm good.
I love fireworks.
I can't do it. Can't do it. I'm so scared of fireworks blasting my hand off. I have like a legit fear. Or losing control of like where it goes and it hitting someone. I will never light off a firework. That and motorcycles. You'll never catch me on a motorcycle either. Even a moped. I'm like, nope. Don't want to do it.
I drive those Revel Mope scooters all the time. It's
Can't
my
do it.
favorite thing.
Can't do it. Terrified.
I burnt the woods down in my neighborhood with fireworks once.
So you're into it.
It was like a 4-alarm fire trucks everywhere. They thought the neighbors were scared their house was going to burn down. The whole back,
So you're
it's
a
like
pyro.
acres of property were burnt to a crisp, and I didn't get in trouble for it
That's
because
good.
the lady
Until
that
now.
owned the land back there was like, "Anyone get hurt?" We're like, no. Like, any property damage? No. Like, it's fucking woods, man.
Let it
Let
be.
it go.
Let it
And,
go.
but the cops, like the firefighters, couldn't get their hoses out there so deep, so they were out there like stomping it out. We thought we peed out all the spots that they landed.
That was your idea?
Yeah, it didn't work.
I wouldn't think so.
No, it was very stupid. Very stupid.
Yeah, you'll never catch me at the firework.
Yeah.
I'm a big viewer of fireworks. I like a viewing of them, but I can't light it off. Too scared.
Yeah.
And I love the packaging. Is there anything more fun than a firework packaging? You talk about like someone who crushed the marketing presentation of an item. The firework industry nails it. They make it really fun. It's the closest thing to buying toys as an adult is going into a fireworks store. It's like so colorful and well presented, and
Yeah.
you got a hodgepodge of different things. I remember seeing firework displays for different, but you're buying explosives.
Right. Yeah, you're
You-
buying bombs. Colorful bombs.
Yeah, with a fuse, and hopefully this thing explodes up in the air and not in your palm.
I used to, man, I'll quit right now and become a pyrotechnic. I don't care.
Oof, could never do it.
Downtown Orlando, right? Eola,
Lake
the
Eola.
center, the
Yeah.
big center water feature. 4th of July, that's where they put the fireworks off every year or whatever. But one year, something malfunctioned and the triggers weren't working, so they rowed a boat out there, and like 2 guys with like handheld fire sticks ran around the thing just lighting off all these massive professional fireworks by hand. I was like, this is the dumbest thing, but I'm having the best time.
They probably loved it too.
Oh, they were having a
They're,
blast.
they're probably like hoping for a malfunction. It gets them right in the fray.
Yeah, they came out with no eyebrows for sure.
Yeah, they're like, oh, you won't believe what happened at my gig tonight. It was a corporate gig. I was in a suit on Lake Eola, lighting off fireworks.
These guys were not in suits. They were in flip-flops and
I'm sure.
tank tops. They were full Florida trash.
Oh, gosh. All right. Well, on that note, we'll wrap up this first of the summer edition, episode 17. Thanks for tuning in to Fresh Towels. Be sure to rate and subscribe if you're on YouTube or Spotify or Apple Podcasts. That helps us a lot. And that's it. Thanks for tuning in. Until next time, mahalo and deuces.